They are lying to us, we know it, they know we know it, and they're squirming to try and show something, but...
Today, on What the Hell is Wrong with These People?
Chemtrails? Are we being sprayed, or is this just another really stupid claim from people who don't understand clouds? Let's find out.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald f***.
Please subscribe. Have you ever looked up at the sky and wondered if you're being secretly sprayed by the government? No, me neither. But some people genuinely believe that we are. So today we're going to take a look at a channel that I've not covered yet. And the channel was sent to me in my Discord server by a user called F4. So if we don't enjoy the video, then we all know exactly who's to blame. Anyway, Richard Vobes is one of those don't trust anyone or anything people, and he's from the UK, but he's got videos claiming things like smoking cigarettes is actually good for you, and that you don't actually have to pay for your gas or electricity. But today, he's gonna school us all on chemtrails. So Richard, over to you, pal.
Meanwhile, we've got to try and help everybody else understand what they're doing to the skies. And interestingly enough, somebody very kindly sent me what the Met Office have been saying about it. And you'd think they would know what's going on. Well, they admit it. They admit what they're doing.
Geoengineering is a method to counterbalance the effects of global warming owing to the increased concentrations of atmospheric greenhouse gases.
So, the Met Office, with actual scientists with fancy degrees, is talking about potential climate interventions. And what do we get? A perfectly reasonable explanation of complex science. But don't worry about that. Richard, my new friend and our resident expert, is about to tell us why all of that is, to quote him, ignorant and stupid. Because, you know, facts are just suggestions when you've got a narrative to push, aren't they, Richard?
So it says here, what different types of geoengineering are there?
Geoengineering or climate engineering generally falls into two specific categories. The first of which is called carbon dioxide removal, which, as the name suggests, is basically capturing carbon from the atmosphere and storing it.
That's not a sensible policy, seeing as CO2 is the gas of life. We need that to grow plants, and animals need to eat the plants, and we obviously eat both.
Yes, so I've heard this CO2 is plant food argument before. Yeah, it's essential for life, just like water. And too much water can drown you. It's almost like context and quantity matter, isn't it? But why bother with nuance when you can just declare something ignorant and stupid because it doesn't fit your preconceived notions? This guy literally hasn't got a clue how science even works.
The second method is what's known as solar radiation management. Now, solar radiation management differs from carbon dioxide removal in that what you're trying to do is reflect an additional amount of sunlight back out to space. So solar radiation management is basically trying to reflect sunlight back out to space, leading to a cooling to counterbalance the increases in greenhouse gases.
Yes, science!
Now, usually I would cut in at this point and give you an explanation about solar management, but the actual scientist from the Met Office did a perfectly fine job. So now you can go ahead and tell us why he's wrong.
Well, it's very cold when the chemical trails are up there in the sky. We certainly notice the difference. I mean, we're in the end of May. We're fast approaching the summer, and we're only given a few days of sunshine in the UK. Wherever you are, it might be slightly different. And the idea of reflecting the sun back out, the sunlight is the energy of life. CO2 and sunlight are two of the most important aspects that we want. If you start mucking about by taking the sun out of the equation, you are effectively destroying life. And this is so basic. You cannot believe how ignorant and how stupid these people must be. And these are people in positions of so-called knowledge and power, and just peddling the same old rubbish that everybody knows is rubbish.
And once again, you can have too much of a good thing. And as for your groundbreaking revelation that sunlight is vital for life...
Blows my mind every time.
I know, Uncle Bryn. It's almost as if the concept of managing solar radiation, not eliminating it, is completely lost on you. It's like saying you shouldn't wear sunglasses because sunlight is vital. The intellectual gymnastics required to misunderstand this badly are absolutely phenomenal. Although I don't think it is a misunderstanding, I think it's deliberate misrepresentation.
There's been various different solar radiation management schemes that have been mooted as being possible, all of which are basically trying to reflect sunlight back out to space.
Why would you do that?
Well, I'm sure the Met Office guy is going to explain it, but the primary reason for reflecting sunlight back out into space is to mitigate the effects of climate change by reducing the amount of solar radiation absorbed by the Earth.
Why? Why would you not use some common sense?
Are you taking the piss?
And go, this is barking. This planet has been around for millions of years. We don't, and a few people on it running around like ants have somehow caused this warming? Really?
Well, yeah, and I'm not sure that 8 billion counts as being a few. But yeah, it's like everything else man gets their hands on. We've got a tendency to completely ruin it.
You are mad.
One of the most popular is to inject some reflective material into the stratosphere. This mimics really the impact of volcanic eruptions.
So we want to imply that there are more volcanic eruptions. That's a good place to live, is it? By chucking out stuff into the atmosphere, which presumably will eventually fall down. And are we not breathing all of this?
Yeah, right, because injecting microscopic particles into the stratosphere to reflect sunlight is precisely the same as just chucking stuff out there that we all breathe. Whatever the hell that means. He didn't say we're adding volcanic eruptions, did he? Do you have any understanding of atmospheric layers, particle sizes, or, basic physics?
Which have been shown on the observational record to cool climate. There's another method which is artificial brightening of low-lying stratocumulus clouds. If you inject some aerosol into these low-lying stratocumulus clouds, you can brighten them. And of course, when you get a brightening of the planet, you're reflecting more sunlight back out to space.
Yeah, and you're decimating life on the Earth. I mean, it's bonkers, isn't it? Isn't this not just absolutely bonkers?
You're starting to sound a lot like a flat earther, because all you're doing is letting an actual scientist explain this highly experimental and controversial idea, and you're just saying, that's stupid, you're wrong, why would you do that? I thought you were going to actually show us the evils of the Met Office's ways.
Leave it alone. Stop injecting all this stuff into the atmosphere, which we know, of course. I mean, and he's putting a very general case about it, isn't he? He's telling us that it's benign and all of this, and putting it into as friendly words as is possible. But of course, he's not actually telling you that the other substances they're shoving in there with the aluminium and the bar.
Aluminium? Are you going to present evidence to back that up, or is it, as I suspect is the case with you, like every other conspiracy theorist?
You couldn't back up a phone, you c***.
But I suppose that when you have no evidence, you just invent some trace elements and declare them the secret ingredient. That the government's using to control our minds. Hang on a second, I know you lot. That made it sound like I'm saying that he's just invented aluminium, even though he said aluminium. So maybe he has, but that wasn't what I was saying.
And the various other... He's not telling you the nefarious things about decimating the farmland, about and the dark forces, and they're trying to kill off the food, the great famine that will come because things won't grow, the poisoning of the atmosphere, all of it.
And just like that, we've gone from geoengineering to a full-blown apocalyptic great famine engineered by dark forces. Because if you're going to make wild claims, why not throw in some global genocide and decimated degraded farmlands for good measure. It's remarkable how quickly I don't understand atmospheric science morphs into they're trying to starve us all. This is beyond having no clue. This is just pure, unadulterated fear-mongering.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm!
And he probably doesn't know that.
But I'm sure you do, Richard, right?
He probably only knows the tiny bit, the story, that it's plausible and maybe it makes sense. Well, no, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Stop meddling with our atmosphere. It's our planet. Nobody asked you. You didn't come to the people of the planet or to the people of the country and say, is it all right if we do this? We think there's a problem. Is it okay? Because you've got to breathe this in.
He only knows a tiny bit is usually an argument deployed by somebody who knows even less but shouts a hell of a lot louder. And then the sudden concern for consent when it comes to atmospheric science, as if every single scientific advancement ever made required a global public vote. Funny how this concern for what we breathe only pops up when you think it supports a chemtrail narrative. Because even though you haven't actually said the words, we all know that's what you're getting at. Or at least I hope that's what you're getting at, or I might have to redo the thumbnail.
So the Met Office are telling you what's going on. They've said they're spraying this aerosol stuff in there.
But nothing, pal. He said no such thing. He's talking about an idea. And if you would bother to read anything about the Met Office's involvement in geoengineering, you would have seen this. The Met Office does not engage in adding substances to the atmosphere in order to modify it. The Met Office does not undertake any practical or theoretical research into weather modification. He's probably talking about it as an atmospheric scientist, not as the guy who's going to be going out and doing it if it ever gets done. It's still an idea. Context matters, Richard, which is probably why most conspiracy conmen grifters choose to leave it out. So why would you be the exception to the rule? Let
us just have a look at this email here, because this is an email that came in from a chap called Shane, and he says, hi Richard, this is an email, he's going to show us in a second, I sent to the Civil Aviation Authority, and the one I received back, I'm sure they have a scripted answer for all. It's shocking they treat us with such contempt and insult our intelligence at every instance.
Wait a second, you mean somebody's actually emailed the Civil Aviation Authority and asked them to stop spraying us?
To whom it may concern, I'm making a freedom of information request regarding the geoengineering and stratospheric aerosol injections taking place over Bedford in the UK on behalf of myself and my community. Please can you provide the names of the companies or branch of military carrying this out? Very good question. Please can you provide all information on the flights on the dates of the 1st of the 3rd, 2024 to present day, as this is when we started recording the flights and the planes and have recorded them.
Can you imagine if you worked for the Civil Aviation Authority and that popped into your inbox?
So he's telling the Civil Aviation, we know what you're doing.
Well, if he did actually send him that email, I think he needs to be more concerned about what he's doing than anyone else.
So he says that, and here is the response. Can we put your mind at rest? Aircraft are not allowed to dispense any chemicals into the atmosphere in the UK. Really? And yet we're all seeing it. This is the Civil Aviation Authority, but maybe they don't know what their pilots are doing. What you're actually witnessing... Oh, here we go. This will be good. Here's the truth at last.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, it is the truth, because what conspiracy theorists like you think are contrails... No, that's what they are. What conspiracy theorists like you think are chemtrails are actually just condensation trails. It's perfectly normal for all planes.
What you're witnessing is the formation of persistent condensation trails. Oh. Contrails. Yes, I think we're being conned again.
And who better to spot a con than a con man?
By aircraft transisting along the air traffic service routes, also known as airways, that are established over the UK. Contrails are formed when water vapour, which is emitted from aircraft engines as part of the combustion process, comes into contact with the surrounding air. Their formation is completely dependent upon the ambient atmospheric conditions such as temperature, pressure and humidity. If the air is dry, low level of humidity, the trail will only appear, as it were, for a short plume behind the aircraft. Whereas, if the surrounding area or close to saturation, high level humidity, the contrail will evaporate slowly, or not at all, or will be... What do you mean, not at all?
They mean this. If the air at cruising altitude is very cold and humid, the ice crystals in the contrail can persist for much longer. And over time, these persistent contrails spread out due to upper atmosphere winds and turbulence, becoming wider and fuzzier. And when they spread out significantly, they can become indistinguishable from natural cirrus clouds, essentially forming contrail cirrus clouds.
What? You're telling me that an aeroplane could go at a certain height and the vapour will just not evaporate at all, ever? It's just going to stay up there?
No, that's not what they're saying. They are not saying that sometimes contrails from aeroplanes stay forever.
You can find more information here at aircraftcontrails.government.uk and here at Chemtrails Debunked. Oh yeah, like we're going to go and see that. That's the aerosociety.com.
Brilliant. You literally just highlighted just how deep down the rabbit hole you go. They've offered you a resource where you can read accurate scientific information which shows you why they are not chemtrails, and you literally said...
Oh yeah, like we're going to go and see that.
Which says it all.
This is disgusting and is blatant lies, and our skies are continually being filled up with this nonsense. They are lying to us. We know it. They know we know it, and they're squirming to try and show something. But we must get to the bottom of this, for otherwise... This is the end of humanity, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. And everyone knows that condensation is responsible for thousands of deaths every year. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you again on Friday. Love you. Bye.
Out of everything that's on the internet, this is the best thing.
How do you tell the sex of an ant? It's really simple. You get a glass of water, you drop both ants in, and if it sinks, it's a girl ant. But if it floats, boy ant.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, ever, ever